Much ado about something.
Good morning. I'm glad you're here today. Well, you can hear it in my voice. I still have a touch of that bug that I had a few days ago, where I had all the sinus trouble and stuff, but it's not gotten very bad and it's breaking up. It's breaking up right now. That's why you can hear it in my voice. I've been taking my elderberry syrup. I've continued to take that, and I think I've gotten out pretty good with this sickness, comparing to how a lot of people that I know have been doing that had this sickness. Not sure what it was. It's different than some. It's been like a sinus infection for some, which is how it started for me. And then it's been flu, a full-blown flu for some people. But me, I've just had kind of a mild case. I don't think I had a sinus infection, but I do think that I had something trying to sit up in my sinuses. But it's getting much better now. I hope it continues to get better. I'm going to drink my elderberry syrup this morning. I've been continuing to take my elderberry syrup, and while it did not prevent me from getting this sickness, I think it has given me a much lighter case of it. Because there are some people I know who have been down for a week with this, and I haven't got down with it. I've still been able to go and practice, good self-care and measures to prevent me from spreading this. So I haven't had a fever, so that's a good thing. I didn't have any kind of fever. I've just been, I'm putting all this stuff back in the refrigerator. Bringing you along with me. But, so I've been drinking the elderberry syrup. I've got it here. I'm going to take my dose this morning. I increased it to morning and night. I could have probably increased it even more. And I've been drinking tea. I've been drinking OTs. The honeybush, yerba mate, apple, and cinnamon. This is something that I've been enjoying, so I've been drinking that. I'm going to make a little bigger size pot of tea this morning because I've been drinking a little bit more. Let me get out a couple of these OTs tea bags. And this is my new container. I've already been through one of these. Can you believe it? Only 15 tea bags in this tea. But I've already went through one box of the OTs. Organic immunity tea made with honeybush, yerba mate, and apple cinnamon. So I've already went through one little box, which was 15 tea bags. And I'm having to open my second little box this morning. I'm going to continue this because I feel like it's helping me. And I enjoy the taste of it. I think it's got a lot of good stuff in it. So I'm just going to put one tea bag of this in here because I'm going to mix my teas this morning. Of course, I'm going to add some black tea because, I love black tea. This Taylor's black tea in particular is delicious. It's just really good. So I'll be adding some of that. And I'm going to add goldenrod this morning. And of course, the goldenrod's added for all the good benefits that's in a goldenrod plant. I harvested this last year and dried it, and I'm continuing to make tea out of it up all the way up until now. So I'll be adding quite a bit of this goldenrod. I might have to have two hands to open this container. I am going to go ahead and drink my elderberry syrup and get that out of the way. Go ahead and enjoy this. This elderberry syrup is delicious. I've got this how to make elderberry syrup video on my channel if you want to watch it, but this has been the best elderberry syrup I've ever made. It tastes really good. And as far as medicine goes, you want it to taste as good as you can to get the effective properties, but this turned out really good. Well, I've got the elderberry taken this morning, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue with my tea. I'll add some goldenrod tea in here. This is mainly blooms. And I want to say I'll probably put about a third of a cup in here because I want the properties from this goldenrod. I have a video. One of the first videos I ever made was how to, the benefits of goldenrod and how to harvest, goldenrod. And then what I did after I harvested it. So that's something I drink often. It's something I enjoy. And it's something that really has some antiviral, antifungal, has some good properties in it. I'm going to add some black tea because I enjoy black tea. And I'm going to get this all brewing while I share some things with you today. I think this little teapot holds exactly one this electric kettle that my sister gave me years ago, and I think she got it at Amazon. This little tea brewer that I picked up right here, I've had it so long I don't even know where I got it. But it holds exactly one teapot full of boiled water poured over the infuser in this little container. And you just put the lid on it. It fits tight, and I can let it steep. I usually give it a couple of jiggles before I put the lid on it to get the tea that I've got in the diffuser to get it good and, wet and soaked in there. Now I'll put this on and I'll let this soak about 4 to 6 minutes. I can let it soak longer. That'll just make it a little more bitter, but it'll also make it more potent. Now I've got some wildflower honey out this morning. It's raw and unfiltered, and I am going to add a little bit of that to my tea because the properties, I'm just going to be really good to myself. I'm trying to cut out as much sweet and as much sugar as I possibly can out of my diet. But sometimes I indulge, especially if I'm going through something like this, in a teaspoon or so of honey. So I'm going to put that in my tea this morning when I let it steep. It's already getting a beautiful color. That's just a beautiful color in that tea this morning. And I'm looking forward to enjoying it. Here's my little cup I got at Home Goods when Donald and I went out there one day, and I just picked this little coffee cup up because I like that little cute rabbit on it. I think it's Peter Rabbit, actually. So I'm going to enjoy a cup of tea, and while that steeps, I'll be sharing with you some clips of the nursery, the greenhouses that my daughter and I and her little kids visited yesterday. We went to the Oakdale Nursery here in North Carolina. I think it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was a large size. I had been looking around for 2 specific things that were on my list to add to my garden this year. There was 2 things that I needed to add to my garden. Now, one thing that I added last year that was on the list was the fig tree. And my fig tree, we got that planted. It's out in front, and we're excited to see how it performs this year. The second thing that I needed to add was tea trees, tea bushes. The Camellia sinensis, that's what actual tea, black tea, green tea, oolong, is the actual tea bushes that the 6 common teas are made from. Now, I know I'm not going to probably be able to make all of those teas, but I was so excited to be able to grow my own tea leaves to add to my teas that I make here at the house that I found them at the Oakdale greenhouses in Charlotte, North Carolina. And there was another thing on my list besides those 2 tea bushes was I wanted a bay leaf tree because I wanted to grow my own bay leaves. I wanted to grow that own herb. I wanted to have it here and grow it. So I'm going to show you those while we're letting this tea steep. But I think I'll show you the clip where we went to the greenhouses first, and then I'll bring you out here and show you after I've gotten them home. Good morning. Well, we're at a greenhouse today, and you know there were two things that I wanted to add to my garden this year. That was the tea and the bay laurel bush. And we are at the right greenhouse today. They have exactly what I need right here. Look at these beautiful, beautiful small leaf tea trees. This is exactly what I'm looking for. She has exactly what we need. And they also have bay laurel, so I'm excited about that today. This beautiful greenhouse here today. I got 2 tea trees and 1 bay leaf tree. I'm very, very excited. That's exactly what I have been looking for my garden. My daughter was telling me about this greenhouse. And now we're just going to go and look and see what they have. They've got some aquatic plants and some koi fish over here. These are beautiful bonsai. There are cactus and succulents. Here's a string of pearls. It does not disappoint. Those are native to North Carolina. You would find them in the North Carolina woods. What's the price on those? Oh, they're not for sale. These are pitcher plants. Look how beautiful. This is a Hoya, like the one that I have in my dining area. That tall Hoya plant that has the heart-shaped leaves that I share with you that my mom gave me. And you can see the price of these. Very beautiful, very exotic plants. Here is a variegated variety. What's the name of that?
That's
That's a Burrow's tail.
A Burrow's tail succulent for $8.95. Wow.
The variegated wolfins.
Yeah. Here are the variegated whale fins. We have the solid whale fin like this that we bought the last time.
Growing like a spiral.
Yeah. Spiral cactus. Jody, what's the name of this place?
Oakdale Greenhouses.
Oakdale Greenhouses in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ooh, that's beautiful. That's unusual. Okay. Wow, look at that big old thing.
Did you see it? The olive tree?
Yeah,
What do you need? What?
they have orange trees. And then lemon trees. Look at the... That's beautiful. Look at the little lemons.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. Isn't that
They're
beautiful?
Myers. Meyer lemons.
Oh, I love Meyer lemons. That's one of my favorite lemons.
Oh, don't touch these.
These will burn you.
It's secrete a thing it irritates me.
Okay. Oh, very beautiful. This is a different Christmas cactus. I don't think I've ever saw one with this color leaves. See that little lizard in the greenhouse?
Will not need a second sheet.
Here are some of these little picture plants. Very beautiful, very unusual. I already have two of my little grandchildren here. They're upstairs watching a movie. They're older, so it's okay. They'll be fine until I show you this. But I'm out here in the yard today, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful day. You can see all the daffodils that are blooming. I still have more daffodils to plant. I wanted to plant them a little bit later, so I'd have kind of two waves of daffodils. And of course, there's some over here on the other side too. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Well, this is what I picked up. This is the bay leaf, the little bay tree. And it's a pretty good, tall bay tree. I got to go into their hoop house and pick out the one that I wanted. It's a bay laurel leaf. It's used for seasoning and cooking. So I won't have to buy bay leaf like I normally do. If I can get this to grow, it looks well established and a good size, then I will have a bay leaf bush to go and harvest my bay leaves from every year. And here is the other two additions. They're both the same plant. I got two of them because, I thought that I would need two of them. And they are the Camellia sinensis, which is what tea is made out of. This is the true tea plant. And this is a small leaf tree. And I got two of these. And Donald and I are planning to put these over in the permanent herb garden. I'm not sure how big these will get. I know that they're not really huge. Maybe 5 to 6 feet. But that would be a pretty good sized bush. But we are going to sacrifice some of the perennial herb garden over here to house these two tea trees. This has not been cleaned up for the spring. It's still here in its winter condition, and we'll be out here working on this and planning where to put these two tea trees or tea bushes. They'll get about 5 to 6 feet high, and we'll be able to come out here and harvest from them. And of course, I want to be able to put them in the sunniest spot. So they may have to go in the middle of this perennial herb garden bed, and that'll be perfectly okay. I can make changes around and maybe even make a new perennial bed in another area. But here they are, the additions, the new additions to the garden this year. That was exactly what was on my list. Last year we had 3 things on our list. We had the fig tree, the bay laurel tree, and these two tea trees, small leaf tea trees that we can make our own tea out of. Certainly our own white and green tea, right? These do have a small little white bloom that gets on them when they bloom. And they are just wonderful. I'm so excited to have found them. Now, last year we did find the fig tree at the farmer's market that we went to. That pretty daffodil. And we planted it right here in the front of the house. We planted it right here. And we're anxious to see how this fig tree does here this year. It's still got some little dried figs on it. But you can see there is some new growth here. You can see it is trying to bud out. And so it looks like it's healthy and like it's going to come back. I am going to start adding a little bit more water to it because it doesn't get an extreme amount of water right here. And I think that'll be perfectly okay for it. But this was last year's addition to the garden. And that's this fig tree. We found that at the farmer's market. And it was exactly what we were looking for. A locally nurtured plant that we knew would probably be excellent to grow in our area. So we were really happy with that. And then last year, we did look for the tea bushes. They had them at the farmer's market, but they had sold out before we got there. And that's the reason we didn't buy the tea, little tea bushes from the Camellia sinensis small leaf tea bush. That's the reason we didn't buy it from the farmer's market, was they had sold out before we were able to get them. But we got them this year, and I'm just so excited about them, so ready to get them in the ground. I know that you don't plant them too deep. She said these were ready to go ahead and put outside, put in your garden. They would do just fine. But the bay laurel had been in a hoop house, and it had been protected. So if it gets down too low, probably below freezing, that this would probably need to be covered up with a sheet or a some kind of protection so that it wasn't exposed. So it's not quite ready to go out into the garden yet, unless you're willing to get out there and cover it up, which I am willing to get out there and cover it up. If it looks like it's going to be cold weather, I would certainly get out here and cover it up and take good care of it. I'm so tickled with these two new additions. And of course, when we plant these, and I'll show you where we plant them, and kind of let you know how they're doing, how they're adapting to their area. And I look forward to doing that, maybe even harvesting this bay laurel. I'm pretty sure I can go ahead and harvest from this. It looks full, and it looks like I could easily take a few leaves, and would be no problem with that. Well, the thing about this bay laurel tree is I love bay. I love bay in seasonings, especially making soups, a lot of soups and chilies and such and things like that I make. I love the taste of bay leaves. I always add bay leaves in every soup or stew that I make. And although bay leaves have not been terribly expensive, they haven't been. They're readily available. I hadn't had any trouble finding them. I wanted to grow my own, just like I like to grow any of the herbs that I have. I prefer to just grow them and have them here on hand if I can do that. So that's the reason I really wanted to add those two things. It's two things that I use a lot of. I use a lot of bay and I like leaves, and I use a lot of tea. And I wanted to try to have those things here where I could just walk out into my yard and harvest those as I need and as I desire to do the things that I enjoy doing with them. So thank you for letting me share that. I'll share the other things I got with you yesterday on our day out too. I'll also show you those things. The other kiddos are here, so I had to take a minute and make some eggs. So we got some eggs this morning. I'm going to go ahead and pour the tea in. Looks delicious. Looks perfect. I'll add a little bit of honey. This jar gets a little bit sticky. I may have to wrestle with it just a little bit. We get a little drink of this tea before it all starts happening today. I'll have a busy day. It's good, and I think it's going to help me get rid of this crud, this virus that I've got. Well, the other thing that I picked up, and of course I've already been reading this was of course at the Millions of Books store we went to the Concord Mall after we left the greenhouse. And when we went there, of course we went into the Millions of Books store. And this is called the Perfect Loaf. I've been baking bread for a long time. I know how to make many different kinds of bread. But I read books like this just like I would if it was a mystery novel. I like to read these and find out the things that I don't know I enjoy reading. It's one of the ways that I learn. And so I'll buy a beautiful book in a heartbeat in a subject that I do, like gardening, herbs, cooking, cookbooks. Those are the kind of books that I have on my bookshelf, and so I could not resist this beautiful book. It is available on Amazon. My daughter looked it up for me so we could see the price difference. In the bookstore, it was about $8 more, but that was okay that day because I wanted to buy this book and delve right into it. It was an irresistible book, and I loved the name of it, and I loved the description: The Craft and Science of Sourdough Breads, Sweets, and More. I couldn't resist this beautiful book. And of course, the author is Maurizio Leo. And it's got different kinds of breads in here. It's got a sourdough. It's got how to make sourdough. And he says the same thing that we all say. Once you start making sourdough, it is not near the conundrum that it seems like it is when you first start. So it's got all the good things, and it even has a place in here of how to make your sourdough starter. So if you're needing to make a sourdough starter, here it tells you all about it. Now, I use a sourdough starter that's different. I use a sourdough starter that's an old recipe that a friend's mother gave me years ago. I've been making this bread for 42 years, and my sourdough starter is fed with potato flakes and sugar and warm water. So my starter is a little bit different, and that's one of the reasons I picked this book up is maybe if I wanted to try a different kind of sourdough just to have the knowledge of it, then I would have full and scientific and experienced instructions here of how to make a sourdough starter. I've never had any trouble making a starter, though. I think it's a really simple process. But I so wanted to just read this book. I just wanted to delve into the knowledge of it and see what I needed to learn. And look, it has a beautiful peach and blueberry crostata. Oh my goodness, isn't that thing? Here comes summer, and wouldn't that be beautiful to take to any event or just to have for a special dessert one night, drink with your tea or coffee. To eat that with your tea or coffee. Here's banana bread. I make a good banana bread anyway, but I still would like to read how other people make their banana bread. Sourdough scones. It's just got recipe after recipe in here. And it's got everything that you need to know. It's kind of a one complete place that you can go to and kind of gain some information from. So that's why I picked that book up. Was just really excited about it and wanted to read it. And of course, I delved into it right when I got home, and I got a minute to do that. So I got this little book, and I got two more houseplants. These are the two little houseplants that I picked up when we went out yesterday. This is a monstera, and I just love the leaves on it, and I like the hot habit that it grew, and so I picked that up. I thought it was beautiful. I did see a lot of other beautiful houseplants, but I'm pretty limited on space. And then I got this Christmas cactus, and it's specifically a Christmas cactus. So the name of this one is Purple Dancer. And I thought it was beautiful, and I did not have a purple one, so I look forward to seeing that thing bloom. And that's the two little plants that I picked up. And so that's the sum and the total of what I picked up yesterday when we went to the Oakland greenhouse and to the bookstore. I really enjoyed my day out. My daughter and I, we and her two kids, we really had a good day. Well, thank you for joining me today. And like always, until next time.